Hello, this is Blue Joe Saunders, WBO middleweight champion of the world. Subscribe to Sport and Icons to stay in touch with all the top news. God bless you all.
Right, thank you Andy for sending me this article. So there are quite a few rumours coming out right now, and this particular one, which I'm reading from here, is on Boxing News 24, and it is that the World Boxing Super Series, who are having a big announcement on Wednesday. Obviously, I'm recording this on Tuesday evening, but it's going to be scheduled to be uploaded early hours Wednesday morning, so today, that they're going to be making an announcement. And one of the rumours that the announcement could be, it could also be the announcement of other tournaments set to be announced, which I'll make a video on in a bit, for who it is that's going to be going into the tournament. Now, one of the things is that George Groves may not be able to make the World Boxing Super Series final against Callum Smith. Obviously, last time out against Chris Eubank Jr., he injured his shoulder. He's had surgery on it. He felt that everything was going to be okay. But obviously, the World Boxing Super Series, they want to draw a close to this final, just like they do with a cruiserweight. Now, of course, that one's been postponed because Usyk, he got injured. So, I mean, for me, I have to say, I would rather that they wait, even if it means that this final gets overlapped while the other Boxing Super Series starts. If necessary, if we have to wait that long, then we have to wait that long. Because George Groves and Callum Smith, they've earned the right to fight each other, right? And for George Groves to be replaced by Chris Eubank Jr., and don't get me wrong, even though I picked George Groves to win the tournament anyway, I am a fan of George Groves, I'm a fan of Chris Eubank Jr., and I'm a fan of Callum Smith. So I'm happy for Chris Eubank Jr. to fight Callum Smith, but not under these circumstances. You see, outside of the tournament, I'm very, very happy for Chris Eubank Jr. to take on Callum Smith and Callum Smith to take on George Groves outside the tournament. I'm very, very happy with that. But for me, George Groves, he's earned the right to be in the final. Now, obviously, we don't know the extent of the injury, and I'm going to contradict myself a couple of times in this video, and hopefully you understand why. And one of the things is that because I want them to be in the final, and if that means postponing it for a while, obviously we don't know the extent of the injury. So, of course, we could say, well, really, he should be replaced because the final does have to be done. If it waits too long, it's unfair on Callum Smith, because Callum Smith is going to want to keep active. And what if he does keep active while he waits for the final and loses? Then what happens to the final? The final's off, isn't it, surely? So I understand why that maybe they might want to replace George Groves. Now, don't get me wrong, you see, Kalle Sauerland, who is obviously head of the World Boxing Super Series, is also promoter of George Groves, or at least Team Sauerland are, so his brother is. So he does have an emotional tie to George Groves and won't want to do it, and will only do it if absolutely necessary. But of course, what happens if Chris Eubank Jr. fights Callum Smith? Whoever wins that one, people are going to say, well, you're not really the legitimate champion of this tournament because you didn't beat George Groves. And especially if it's Chris Eubank Jr., because he lost to George Groves. Didn't just lose, but schooled by George Groves. Now, again, you could say, well, maybe it would be okay if they replace him with, say, maybe James DeGale. And there's rumours that he's back with Matchroom, Eddie Hearn now. Obviously, he's regained his IBF title. But again, for me, he should have entered the damn tournament to start with. Now, I know he had shoulder problems himself, okay, but he was quite willing to fight Callum Smith at the time when the tournament started. So he was well enough to fight Callum Smith, but not well enough to enter this tournament. Being that there's almost ample enough time to recuperate in between fights, it's a risk, I get that. If not, Gilberto Ramirez, the WBO champion. That is him, right? I'm pretty sure it is. But again, he should have entered the damn tournament anyway, so he's a damn coward motherfucker and shouldn't be allowed in the tournament. So, again, I don't know, to be honest. I mean, I want to see George Groves versus Callum Smith. That's what I want to see. That's the only one I want to see. And regardless of the fact that I'm a fan of Chris Eubank Jr., regardless of the fact I'm a fan of Callum Smith and George Groves, it doesn't matter. I want to see George Groves against Callum Smith. And again, contradicting myself here, the tournament has to close. They can't keep waiting, because as I said, what happens if Callum Smith, I mean, is he going to wait around for 6 months? A year? Maybe not. The World Boxing Super Series, they have investors, you know. They have put money into this. They want to close to this. Much like if they replace, say, Alexander Usyk, who got injured in training in preparation for his fight with Murat Gassiev at the World Boxing Super Series Cruiserweight. So if they replaced him, it would be the same thing, right? But I don't know. I'm very, very confused about this one. I don't know. I mean, maybe replace him with Jürgen Bremer, who was supposed to fight Callum Smith beforehand, but then, of course, got a virus, had to pull out, got replaced by Nicky Holzken. So, again, even then, it's not really good enough. But for me, I think Jürgen Bremer is probably, if I was to be neutral, is probably the best one, because he never lost in the Super Series. He got technically injured. Well, not injured. He got a virus and couldn't make the semi-final. So, in some ways, he's probably the better choice out of them. If I'm to be neutral, my biased head says, okay, Chris Eubank Jr., why not? So, I don't know. But of course, there is other talk of Jose Uzagatu. I think I butchered that one. Again, apparently a lot of fans would be interested for him to be in it. But for me, anybody who wasn't in the tournament shouldn't be in the final. That's just my own opinion, of course. But I don't know. Again, it's just rumours. We don't know any of this to be true. This is Boxing News 24, not just them, but other people as well, saying that this could be one of the rumours. But of course, they are set to announce the next section, or whatever it may be, of World Boxing Super Series at other weights. So I'll make a video on that one in a minute, so keep your eye out for that one. Anyway, drop your thoughts below. Do you think George Groves should be dropped, depending on the time frame? Who should he be replaced by? Or do you think that maybe they should just risk it with Callum Smith in the hope that he doesn't lose between now and whenever George Groves is fit for the final? Or are you okay with Chris Eubank Jr. stepping in? Do you think maybe Bremer should do it, one of the other champions? And the whole thing's a mess. You see, this is a problem with tournaments sometimes. They're exciting, but when something goes wrong, it really goes tits up. So anyway, drop your thoughts below, click that thumbs up, subscribe. Catch you next video.